retailers. Let's start with the British chain Next. Profit up 9% and the shares doing rather nicely, up 3%.
Indeed, and that follows on from a 43% rise in the share price just over the last year alone, a period during which the wider FTSE has risen just about 9%. It's becoming something of a company mantra at Next. Profits towards the upper end of expectations, firm control on costs, extremely strong performance from the directory or online business, tempered slightly with cautious management outlook, but the management team is now well known for managing down expectations in terms of what the analysts want to hear and then tending to over-deliver.
Well, they may have to manage expectations down because you mentioned the performance over the last year. Over the last 4 years, the shares have more than quadrupled. And the shares are now at an all-time high. Would you be a buyer of Next shares up at these levels?
It's interesting that the current consensus for the shares is a hold, albeit a strong one, and that tends to echo what you're saying, namely that valuations are potentially pretty much up with events. That's not to the extent that you should be looking to offload the shares, but perhaps if you are thinking of buying into the shares, it might be an idea to do something on the inevitable dip that we will see at some point.
Indeed. OK, moving on to H&M, the world's second largest retailer. They've also had results out today, not quite as strong, but not bad nonetheless, and their shares up almost 2%.
Yes, that's right. One of the problems, apart from its size, that H&M has, of course, and by that I mean it's easier to grow by a double-digit percentage when you're that size. It's about the second biggest fashion retailer in the world. But its main concern, particularly over the last quarter, as it has pointed out, is that it's mainly a European-focused business. And, of course, we know full well the difficulties going there. The kind of things that it's been investing in is something more of an online presence. And if there is one theme which seems to keep coming up in terms of the more successful retailers globally at the moment, it's number one, having a strong online presence, and number two, having something more of a foothold in China. H&M, of course, is continuing to develop its brands. It remains popular, but it also, due to its size, does sometimes fall foul of higher expectations, although clearly the 2% rise in the share price means that it still has its supporters.